What's up, everyone? It's the Autistic Scyther here, and this is part 2 of Top 10 Potential Warrior Spin-Offs. If you want to see part 1, it's up on my channel now, so I suggest you see that and see numbers 10 through 7 before coming back to this and possibly seeing the remaining 6 entries. Also, I may have cut off number 7 entry, but considering how for most small YouTubers the time limit is, well, around 15 to 15 minutes and 15 minutes 30 seconds, it's kind of hard to get everything I have to say out, so yeah. And considering I have a lot to say about this topic, it kind of makes sense. That being said, without much blathering on, let's get back into it. Moving on next at number 6, we have the MCU. Alright. Yeah. Honestly, considering how large the MCU has gotten over the years, it kind of makes sense that you would expect you would expect it to delve into the musou genre, specifically the Warriors franchise. I mean, you got so many superheroes super villains in this franchise that honestly kind of makes sense. It would make for a nice little Warriors title alone. And honestly, even with that, it's kind of nice to see a lot about how different superheroes basically utilizing their abilities to their advantage. From Spider-Man and utilizing his web-slinging abilities to essentially wrap up opponents in web before swinging them around, hacking other opponents, to Iron Man basically utilizing his photon blast from his Iron Man suit, Captain America throwing his shield around like a boomerang, Venom basically attacking utilizing his abilities. He's Wolverine and his healing potential / claws. Or Scarlet Witch and her magic. Or Black Panther and his not only his technology but his fighting prowess. And even with that, the amount of areas that we could essentially see would also be interesting. From New York City to Stark Industries, Wakanda, Deadpool's apartment. There are so many that could fit for that area. Heck, even the Avengers helipad really says a lot. I mean, heck, even heroes from different MCU properties would essentially show up as well, like Jubilee from X-Men the animated series, or Reptile from Marvel Superhero Squad, or even Squirrel Girl for what it's worth. Honestly, I hope Disney doesn't mess up the MCU so this doesn't become a reality. That being said, what am I saying? They definitely might. Moving on next at number 5, we have Xenoblade Chronicles. Oh boy! Okay. You think if you thought having the Mario franchise being an interesting title, interesting one to have a Warriors title associated with it, honestly, Xenoblade is just, you haven't seen much yet. As the Xenoblade franchise, as considering when it comes down to the Xenoblade franchise, we have had 4 specific games in this title. So, honestly, what better way to bring them together than an entire Warriors game? And it really does say a lot, considering how we already have a specific sort of, fusion interaction between certain individuals specific individuals, as not only has Xenoblade Chronicles 3 given us a nice little interaction with the likes of Melia and Nia, but also it's also had an interesting interactions involving the likes of Shulk, Rex, and I guess even N or Noah, which honestly really does say a lot. But that being said, it really does say a lot once you realize they could be in specific areas, like that could serve as specific like locations, like the Mechonis and Bionis, or Allrest, New Los Angeles, or even Kevis and Agnes. But the one that I'm most likely interested in, the interactions between characters, which could even involve dual combinations, which really does say a lot. I mean, imagine what would happen if we had Tyon and Morag interacting with each other, with Tyon wanting to pick Morag's brain about tactical strategies, or basically like Ryan and Lance more or less having a strength competition where both of them want to see which one of them is tougher than the other. I mean, and this could even include specific interactions between like family members as well, like an interaction between Zeke and Pandoria with their daughter Linka, or what would happen if Nickel ended up meeting the younger version of his mother Fiora, or which is assumed, or heck, even Mio interacting with both her with her mother Nia, or in either of her mothers, Nia, Pyra, or Mithra, or maybe even in her sister Glimmer. The possibilities are endless. And then there's the Napon. Just Ricky, Tatsu, and Tora interacting with each other. Enough said. Just enough said. Moving on next at number 4, we have Pokemon. Yeah. If you haven't already guessed, 3 of these are Nintendo franchises. And honestly, if Zelda and Fire Emblem basically had iconic ones, honestly, it had Warriors entries, these three could definitely have it. Pokemon, on the other hand, is, well, a little bit different. I mean, it's possibly the same reason why Pokemon and Fire Emblem have not crossed over. In fact, we don't know how exactly a Pokemon Warriors title would work. I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe having being able to control a Pokemon would be kind of interesting to say the least. Like, however, it would have to more or less be a starter Pokemon, like any of the starters from each of the generations. I mean, heck, even the Winds and Waves starters would basically be considered. Or it could essentially be an iconic Pokemon from specific generations like Pikachu, Lucario, Gardevoir, Eevee, Zoroark, Zeraora, Magearna, Zygarde. They could all be a part of that. However, I think one reason may very well be Pokemon trainers, and having them as Pokemon trainers, and just having them basically control have their Pokemon essentially participate in these musou style battles. And honestly, while in all fairness, like Fire Emblem Warriors did by introducing us to both Rowan and Liana in the first game and Shez in Three Hopes, we could basically have like a Pokemon. We could have like playable characters. There's canon to the Pokemon Warriors series, and have them face off against many past characters from iconic characters from the franchise, from past player characters like Red or Leaf, Gold, Crystal, Rosa, Hilbert, Hilda, Nate, Callum, Serena. A lot of iconic gym leaders like Brock, Misty, Whitney, Claire, Lieutenant Surge, Norman, Rourke, Gardenia, Volkner, or Karen, and Elisa, Berg, Bryson, Clement, Karina, and so on and so forth. Iconic Elite Four members like Lorelei or Koga or Lorelei, Koga, Flint. Champions like Lance, Steven, Cynthia, Diantha, Alder, Iris. Yes, Hal, Professor Kukui, Leon, Gita. Kieran. Rivals. The list goes on and on. I mean, heck, even anime characters like Ash Ketchum himself, or Liko and Roy, or spin-off characters like Scotty and Betty, or Wes, or Michael. Honestly, granted, it's two different ways to figure that out, but it's kind of an interesting thing. Either way, the sky is definitely the limit. Much like this time limit on this part of the video is kind of closing in, so yeah. This will be continued in part 3. But before I end it, like I said, I have a Patreon page on patreon.com, The Autistic Scyther. If you want to join, you can basically go over there, join a member, become a member, and get specific perks that I may get to once I get my channel up and running. You don't have to join yet, but it's there if you want to.